What is up with it? I can't believe we're doing it again. This is once again another drama video. This is like the third controversy in a week that I've been a part of. I don't know how. I'm not trying to cause any problems or fights or anything. I don't know. It's not really what I want to be happening. So I'm really going to be trying to lay low after this. But I thought I would address it for you all. First of all, the title is a little cap. I did not cheat at all. For those of you who don't know, SQ and I, this person over here, we did a money match. He is an Eastern player who tweeted out that GP beats Lucci. And I said, oh, really? Like, that's not what I found in my testing. Would you like to money match? And he agreed. He agreed we would money match best 2 of 3 open deck list. And I sent him a deck list that included 8 cost Sabo. If you would like to find or watch those money matches, you can in my metafy linked down below. We played 2 best 2 of 3s, one of which is free, one of which is locked to subscribers, but the first one is completely free. It's like 45 minutes of me doing commentary. I think you can learn a lot if you are interested in learning more about either Lucci or GP. And I'd really appreciate if you checked it out. But basically, after the money matches, it came out that I played Sabo, and there was a lot of people who were like, hey, yo, that's not cool. Namely, Noel. Noel was like, hey, point of a wager is to play like more standard lists. You shouldn't be allowed to hard tech for a matchup. On one hand, I kind of agree. On the other hand, I sent SQ the deck list before we played. If he was not comfortable with me playing 8 cost Sabo, I wouldn't have played it in my deck list. It would have been just like that. But I actually disagree entirely about the idea that you can't hard tech. Again, if SQ didn't want me to play it, I wouldn't have played it. Newbie, another Eastern player, very accomplished player that I look up to a lot. He also, we have discussed money matching. He came to me after my money match with SQ and said, hey, I'm not comfortable doing it with 8 cost Sabo. And we went back and forth in a little bit, and I agreed ultimately like, hey, sure, let's do it in a couple days, and I won't play Sabo. But the reason why I disagree with this is basically if GP is a tier 0 deck, right, the way it was in the East, for sure the standard Lucci list will be quote-unquote teched for GP. The list that I played basically was my Virginia Regionals list, except slightly different, a couple ratios different, no Utas and a few 8 cost Sabos. Not even 4 8 cost Sabos, just a few of them. So like it's hard for me to say that like my list was like anything crazy. Right? Like Noel talks about like, oh, what if you money match into a teach and you play 4 Kaido and 4 Tashigi? Like that would be extreme. Like that's crazy. And like on one hand, like I get where he's coming from. I don't think what I did was like that insane. I put in just a few cards that I think would probably be in the deck list, honestly. Because like it's not that different than what I played at Virginia. And like if the meta has a new thing, if it has a new best deck, right? If GP is super popular tier 0 and you're playing Lucci, I think it's extremely reasonable that you would say, hey, let's take what worked in 10 and let's adjust it slightly. You know, let's change like 3 cards to better suit for the GP meta. I think that's extremely reasonable. Which is kind of what Holden chipped in and said. He said, I understand and agree with not wanting to play against a deck that's tech to beat yours because you're just giving away money at that point. But what I don't agree with is this instant write-off of Sabo in an untested format and implying Sabo is only there for the money match. Maybe Sabo doesn't make the cut, I don't know, still early testing, but to immediately write it off when I highly doubt they've tested it in new EB2 format is just wild to me. Maybe I'm wrong and they have tested it, or maybe I'll decide it's not worth it. Who knows? Also, though, at the same point, I think money matching in a format that's not even out and testing is still a little bit silly. So my list came from Holden. Me and Holden were playing a lot. I was playing GP, he was playing Lucci, and he was stomping me with this Sabo list. I promise you, Holden was not wasting his time testing a card that he doesn't think he might actually queue in a tournament. Like, he actually gives credence to the idea that Sabo could be in the deck list. He's not like, oh, let me fuck up Elijah in testing. I'm going to put in this card specifically teched to fuck him up. Like that would be a waste of my time. That would be a waste of his time, right? Like, we're not going to test the Nami matchup. And he's playing Doflamingo and he puts 4 Gion in his deck. Just to like ruin my day, right? Because he would never actually queue Gion in a Dofi deck list ever. Like, that's just not happening. So he wouldn't spend time doing that while we were testing. And I'm not 100% sure if Sabo makes the cut either. When I play Lucci, I just copy Holden's homework. I've been said this. My topping deck list, that was like 95% Holden's work. Shoutouts to the GOAT. So if I decide to play Lucci that format, I'll probably just listen to Holden because I know he's better than I am. He's a better Lucci deck builder than I am. And I think it's extremely possible that Sabo makes the cut. Like, I think it could, maybe it doesn't. But whether or not it makes the cut or not, I think it's kind of ridiculous to say that, like, I'm hard teching. Like, oh, I only put this in there because it was a money match. When that's just not the case. Like, that's just literally what we've been internally testing. But then, so Cross chipped in. He said, maybe we should wait for 10.5 to develop before money matches. It's everyone's playing GP and Teach actually does die, then it's probably fair to start playing some crazy shit to counter GP. Personally, I'd probably upset too, but it's a bad money match. Lucci list too flexible going into any new meta, and GP has to decide if it's playing more anti-black tech. Playing the normal list instead of finding a new list and also makes zero sense because new meta, so it's a poor situation. Also, we've seen topping Lucci lists completely disregard BY and Teach in the past, so it's not a crazy concept. Gotta add some restraints to a matchup like this for sure. Yeah, my perspective is just like both players should just probably agree on the list beforehand, which is what happened with me and SQ. I sent him the deck list, he sent me the deck list. Neither of us had any problems. No one raised any concerns before we played. And even after the first match, if SQ wanted to raise a concern like, hey, that first best of 3, I don't really think, I was willing to give it a chance, but I don't really think it's fair you playing 8-cost Sabo. We could have changed it for the second money match. And I completely agree with Cross that, like, we've seen topping lists disregard matchups. Because I think when you are in a wide field and you are playing a deck like Lucci, you actually cannot, in my opinion, one of 2 things is true. One of 3 things. Either A, a hard counter for Lucci does not exist, which hasn't really been the case ever, because there's always been BY or Teach. But it could theoretically happen at some point. B, the bad matchup exists, and you should probably just ignore it. Because the things that counter Lucci actually counter Lucci so hard that it's like, you can try to bring up your win rate, but you will still never be winning. And therefore, you're just hurting your other matchups. This is the logic that I have used when I have queued Lucci into regionals. Is like, you know what? I'm just going to throw away the Teach matchup and I'll just crush everything else. Right? I'm going to need some bracket luck, but I don't think that Teach is like such a huge percentage of the field that that's going to ruin my day. Or third, you can just not play Lucci. If you think Teach, BY, whatever, it's too popular, you can't you can't play in a meta game with those things, I just wouldn't queue up Lucci. So like I'm very comfortable playing a Lucci list that disregards Blackbeard. I don't know if the Eastern players think I should have pulled up with a deck list that were including Kaidos and Tashigis instead of these Sabos. That was never happening. I was never pulling up to a money match with Kaidos and Tashigis, regardless of what the matchup was. I was never pulling up to a money match versus Blackbeard. If a Blackbeard player said, hey, Elijah, do you want a money match? You can play 4 Kaido, 4 Tashigi. I'd say, you know what? I'm good. I still don't even think that matchup is really winnable. Like, you can make it not hard losing, but to be honest, even if you play 4 and 4, I think that matchup is cursed, bro. I think you have to get so lucky. And maybe if you play 4 and 4, maybe you can make it all right. But honestly, I think the Blackbeard can do some stuff right back where it won't even matter, to keep it a buck. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The other thing that people have been talking about since all this controversy is like, hey, money matching is toxic. It's like gambling addiction, yada, yada, yada. I want to do more money matches. And I like gambling. I don't think it's because I'm any sort of gambling addict or anything. To me, the entire reason why I wanted to do any of this was that, I want to play Green Purple Luffy. And the Eastern players are the only people who know how to play Green Purple Luffy because they've had it for like 3 months or whatever, right? And I can't just go to someone like Newbie and be like, hey, bro, you want to run some games? And expect him to take it seriously. Like, maybe he would. I don't know. I guess I didn't technically try. But like, I don't know, from Newbie's perspective or SQ or whoever, like I'm just a random, like a random Western player, right? So, like it's hard for me to believe that they would play games and take them seriously. So it's like, okay, let's money match instead, because then they will take it seriously, right? Especially if they think they're favored. They're gonna try and take my money, which is cool. To me, that's kind of like conditional coaching. Is the way I view it, where it's like, really, in a weird way, they're like coaching me, but like I'm not paying them for coaching unless they win. Because it's like, I could pay them for coaching and say, hey, let's play open-handed and like let's test this matchup with me, right? Which I think is a great thing, and I think it is really good for coaching, but like I don't believe they're correct. So it would be really weird for me to go to someone like Nubian and pay for coaching and be like, hey, will you teach me how to beat the Lucci matchup? Because it's like, what if I paid him like the $200 or whatever for the session, and then like the entire time we play, I'm just stomping him with Lucci, right? This way, it's like, hey, if he wins, cool, he gets that money anyways. It's like he's coaching me. And if he loses, then hey, I didn't have to pay him to basically confirm that like, hey, you're wrong about the matchup. That's how I view it. I think money matches are a good thing. I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you guys know who Triff is. Shout outs to the GOAT. A few months ago, he won his first YCS, which is basically a regional. It's called the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series. And he's been a content creator for years. People have clowned on him for years. But going into that, it was going to be a brand new format. Literally, the cards released that weekend. And he played hundreds of money matches leading up to it, of that new format. And I think money matches genuinely are a great way to like ensure both players are taking it absolutely seriously. They're very good to like review, talk about, really see like, hey, get a really good player to play you and take it seriously. It's something we see in the fighting game community all the time. But yeah, so I'm cool with money matches. I don't even agree with like what Cross and Holden are saying about, hey, don't do it in like a format that's untested. To me, that's actually the most important time. Like, if you asked me to money match like 09 Doflamingo Mirrors at the end of the format, I don't even think I would do it. Like, I would believe that I'm going to be favored versus you, because I think I would be favored versus everyone except for like maybe 10 people on the planet or something. But like, I don't think I'm going to like learn anything. Like, I don't think there's like a bar, like for me, the purpose of the money matches would be like real intensive testing, which is just something we don't really see in One Piece and we see in other competitive spaces, which like fair enough, I guess. Like if the community is not down to do it, they're not down to do it. But to me, it's perfectly reasonable. And people are upset that like, oh, you know, you're playing for money, that's gambling or whatever. Do y'all know how much we play for at tournaments? Bro, if you're playing for top 8, you're talking about thousands, easy. There's been times where the difference between 16th and 8th in a tournament, like if you're talking about like 06 when they had the Luffy top 8 card, you're talking about you're playing a best of 3 for tens of thousands of dollars, right? And that's, you know, that's not even including, hey, we're playing for Nats, we're playing for Worlds. You're talking about maybe 6 figures you're playing for, maybe 7 figures you're playing for if you're in the World Finals. So like, hey, if me and some Eastern player want to play for $20, I feel like that's nothing. I don't know. Let me know if I'm tripping. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Like, I feel like I came into this whole situation just trying to learn. I didn't even want to win my money match versus SQ. I don't even want to win my money match versus newbie. I just want to learn. I want to like my goal is I want to win a regional with GP Luffy. Like that's what I want. So like if I got to get smacked up in some money matches to learn, like I'm so down. But anyways, let me know if you guys are tripping. I'm going to try my fucking best to stay out of all this drama shit because that's not really what I'm about, but I felt like I should address it. Also, I'm going to start at the end of every video shouting out everyone who has supported me on metafy, which I mentioned before. Go check out in the description. I plan to be posting money matches with commentary weekly there for subscribers. So sure, shout outs to Furry Zerk, Reckless TCG, Felix, KJM, Tailshoot, Debo, Hendrick, Iman, Chance, Mistaken Carpet, Logan, Captivate, Zephyr, Joy Boy, Inaven, Just a Guy, Germs, Jake, and Ybox. Thank you all so much for supporting me on metafy. It means so much to me, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.